राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी गोपी जनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी गोपी जनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी गोपी जनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी गोपी जनवल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन भज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन भज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन भज जन रंजन यमुना तीरावन चारी यमुना तीरावन चारी यमुना तीरावन चारी यमुना तीरावन चारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी राधा माधवा कुंज श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शशि श्रीमती जीवाई प्रेस अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद जय। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। We are reading from Canto 3, Chapter 17, verse 31. Let's begin with auspicious chantings. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 We can all chant together. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudire. नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपाकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। Once again, thank you so much for joining us at ISKCON Farmington Hills Srimad Bhagavatam class. We are reading from Canto 3, Chapter 17, verse 31. Tam Viram Arad Abhipadya Vismayah.
Tam Viram Arad Abhipadya Vismayah.
Shayeshyase Virashaye स्वभीर्वृतः
सयिष्यसे वीरशये स्वभिर्वृतः।
यस्त्वाद्विधानाम् असतां प्रशान्तये
यस्त्वाद्विधानाम् असतां प्रशान्तये
रूपाणि धत्ते सद् अनुग्रच्छयेच्छा।
रूपाणि दत्ते सदनुग्रहेच्छया।
तं वीरामराद अभिपद्य विस्मया।
तं वीरमाराद अभिपद्य विस्मयः।
शयिष्यसे वीराशये स्वभिर्वृतः।
शयिष्यसे वीराशये स्वभिर्वृतः।
यस्त्वद्विधानामसतां प्रशान्तये
यस्त्वद्विधानामचितां प्रशान्तये
रूपाणि धत्ते सदनुग्रच्छयेया।
रूपाणि दत्ते सदनुग्रहेच्छया। तं वीरमाराद अभिपद्य विस्मयः।
तं वीरमारादभिपद्य विस्मया।
शयिष्यसे वीराशये स्वभिर्वृतः।
शयेष्यसे वीरशये स्वभिर्वृतः।
यस्त्वद्विधानाम् असतां प्रशान्तये
यस्त्वद्विधानामसतां प्रशान्तये
रूपाणि दत्ते सदनुग्रहेच्छया।
रूपाणि धत्ते सदनुग्रहेच्छया।
तं वीरमाराद अभिपद्य विस्मयः।
तं वीरमारादभिपद्य विस्मयः।
शयिष्यसे वीरशये स्वभिर्वृतः।
शयेष्यसे वीरशये स्वभिर्वृतः।
यस्त्वद्विधानामसतां प्रशान्तये
यस्त्वद्विधानामसतां प्रशान्तये
रूपाणि धत्ते सदनुग्रहेच्छया।
रूपाणि धत्ते सदनुग्रहीष्यया. Thank you, Prabhuji. Like to read, Prabhuji? Okay, please. Tam veera arada vipadya vismaya shayeshyase veera shayesvabhirtvatah yastadvidhanam asatam prashantaye रूपाणि धत्ते सदनुग्रहेच्छया. Synonyms: Tam, him. Veeram, the great hero. Arat, quickly. Abhipadya, on reaching. Vismayah, rid of pride. Shayisyase, you will lie down. Virashaye, on the battlefield. Shwabhi, by dogs. Vritaha, surrounded. Yaha, he who. Tvat vidhanam, like you. Asatam, of wicked persons. Prashantaye, for the extermination. Rupani, forms. Dhatte, he assumes. Sat, to the virtuous. Anugraha, to show his grace. Ichhaya, with a desire. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhicharanarvind Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Translation: Varuna continued, on reaching him you will be rid of your pride at once and will lie down on the field of battle surrounded by dogs for eternal sleep. It is in order to exterminate wicked fellows like you and to show his grace to the virtuous that he assumes his various incarnations like Varaha. Purport: Asuras do not know that their bodies consist of the 5 elements of material nature and that when they fall they become objects of pastimes or for dogs and vultures. Varuna advised Hiranyaksha to meet Vishnu in his boar incarnation so that his hankering for aggressive war would be satisfied and his powerful body would be vanquished. Hare Krishna. Seeking your blessing so I could do some justice to today's Bhagavatam class. Om Ajnantimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद. हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरून् दीनतारणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरं. Hare Krishna. We are reading from chapter 17. Thank you for your very august presence. The title of this chapter is Victory of Hiranyaksha over all the directions of the universe. And this verse that we just read is the last verse of this chapter, the concluding one. And so a quick recap on what we saw in this chapter. This is happening when Sri Maitreya Muni is telling the narrating the Bhagavat Katha to Vidura. And Sri Maitreya Muni, in the beginning of this chapter, he told how the demigods were free from all fears when they heard Krishna Katha from Brahmaji and they returned to their planets. And Mother Diti, who was very virtuous, although having this desire to beget children at a very inauspicious time, she was full of distress because she was told that the children that will come from her, they will give great distress to the demigods. And so after a full 100 years of pregnancy, twin sons were born to Diti. And on the birth of these two demons, then the next 10 verses of this chapter, they describe in great detail how many natural disturbances and lot of inauspicious events were happening. And actually everyone in this world was terrified except the Chatush Kumaras, who knew what has happened. And other than them, they were aware of the fall of Jaya and Vijay, so who were the first two demons to appear in this universe. So everyone else was very fearful, looking at all the evil omens that were happening throughout the universe. So when these two demons, they appeared in ancient times, they started growing up into this like gigantic mountains, and they had very uncommon bodily feature. They had steel-like frames, right? And Prajapati Kashyap gave their names as Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, right? Hiranyaksha came first, and he was not unafraid of anyone within the three worlds, because so Hiranyakashipu actually received a Hare Krishna. जय श्री श्री राधा गोपी जन वल्लभ भगवान की जय, श्री श्री निताय पतित पावन गौर हरि की जय, श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय. So actually Hiranyakashipu was the elder one, and he was unafraid of death because he had performed severe austerities and received this benediction from Lord Brahma. So he was very puffed up, and his younger brother Hiranyaksh, he always wanted to satisfy his elder brother Hiranyakashipu, and so he would take his club on his shoulder and he will travel around all over the universe with that fighting spirit to satisfy his brother. So it is also revealed from here that Hiranyakashipu actually gained powers twice. So first he did and he became very powerful, and when Hiranyaksh died, then again he went and this time he did even more tapasya. So Hiranyaksh had a very bad temper, and his mental and bodily strength as well as the boon that was conferred upon him made him very proud, right? So so what he did was he wanted a formidable warrior. So he went to Indra, the demigods, and he didn't find them, so he left that place, and then he dived into the deep ocean. And in the last few verses we read how he met Varuna. He actually, in mockery, he paid obeisances to him, saying that you please fight with me, like that. And this is where this and he actually praises that you are so skilled in war and this that. So then Varuna actually tells him, and here the nature of Varuna is also something that we can observe. He tells that actually the most suited person to fight with you is Lord Vishnu. You should fight with him, and he can give you the satisfaction that you are looking for. I am very old, I cannot stand in front of you, and then in today's verse, Varuna says that on reaching him, you will be rid of your pride at once. So there is something that we can always meditate upon when we look at when the devotees of the Lord speak, when the demigods speak, what is their consciousness, right? So if you see Bhagavad Gita, in Srimad Bhagavad Gita also, Arjuna approached Krishna with a problem, a situation, and what is the outcome of that? Was the outcome of that they started talking about people? I know, Arjuna, yeah, this is so difficult, so unfortunate. This Duryodhan guy, he's like this only, It's like you can start talking about people, like who is responsible for this? Why they did something like this? See, because of them we are standing over here. Or people may resort to, if they avoid taking names, then they may talk about events. You should look at the events that are causing this. This happened, then that happened, then that happened. But like His Grace Shyam Kishore Prabhuji was saying in his Sunday feast lecture, right? So there are different jalpa and prajalpa, and then what kind of conversation is Krishna going towards? It's a very philosophical conversation. He's talking about the basic elements of existence, then the purpose of life, and then trying to understand the activities that are troubling Arjuna right now. Then talk about Karma Yoga, take him up till Dhyan Yoga, then take him into Bhakti Yoga. Explain how this purpose of life is actually can drive him, if he understands this, through the consciousness of where he is. From there he can take it to the highest level of the purpose of life. So this is philosophical way of looking at things and approaching them like that. Here Varuna is a demigod. Asura is standing in front of him. He is Asura, and how he approaches is, of course, he is at a very high position. He is the king of all the living entities in the ocean, right? In that position also, he is giving a befitting answer, and his analysis is so correct. He is seeing why this has happened. The way he has approached, he has mocked me. He sees the philosophy behind that is that these are the symptoms of pride. These are the symptoms of pride. And actually, he gives one solution then. He says that you should approach Lord Vishnu. You should go to Lord Vishnu. So I would like to quote one of the verses from Ramayana. Shri Ram Navami is coming, just to tell what happens when somebody approaches Lord Ram. Okay, so this verse comes in Aranya Kanda of Ramayana. Ran means to fight, and Aranya means a place where there is no fighting. So Aranya Kanda is that section of Ramayana where the pastimes of the Lord when they were in the forest happened, because forest was that place where the sages would be there. Sages means there is no fighting. So that is forest, Aranya. So in Aranya Kanda, this shloka comes, Sandrananda payo dasho bhagatanum pitambaram sundaram pana bana sharasana katilasad tunir bharam varam Rajivayat lochanam dhrita jata jutena samshobhitam Sita Lakshmana samyutam pathigatam Ramabhiramam bhaje. Sandrananda is one of the qualities of Lord Shri Ram. Sandrananda means one whose form is that of condensed happiness. Condensed happiness. So anyone who hears about Shri Ramchandra, anyone who studies the Ramayana, anyone who glances on the deity of Shri Ram, anyone who speaks about Shri Ram, sings his bhajan, or hears and chants the holy names of Shri Ram, this person holds Shri Ram in his heart. And because Shri Ram is Sandrananda, condensed bliss, this person who is holding Shri Ram also becomes blissful, right? So closer we go to Sri Ram, happier and more satisfied we become. And farther we go from Lord Sri Ram, the abode of all happiness, you will experience misery and frustration. Okay? We also try to search for this happiness through gadgets, relationships, itching and gratification of senses, or fame, name, So we are looking for it in the wrong places. Only Sri Ram, Sri Hari, Sri Krishna, all the Vishnu Murtis, they are Sandrananda. Right? So what is Lord Ram's form here? It is mentioned, it is Payodhara. Paya means water. Payodhara means one which carries water, that is the rain cloud. And what is the nature of rain cloud? When it showers, it nourishes and satisfies everybody. Right? So Lord Ram is like that. And then his form is mentioned, that he is Pitambara Sundaram. He is wearing yellow dhoti, right? A yellow garment. So this is the description when he was in the forest, right? And then Panav, in the hands, Ban, Shara, Sanaha. So he is having Ban and Shara, the bow and the arrow, he is carrying that. Then there is Tunir Bharamvaram, heavy quiver. He is, which has become heavy because of the arrows, lots of arrows he is carrying, and his eyes are like blossoming lotus. Rajivayat Lochanam. Dhrita Jata Jutena, his hair are matted because he was in the forest at this point, right? And then is he alone? No, he is walking in the forest with Mother Sita on one side and Lakshmanji on the other side, right? To such Sri Ram, such beautiful form of the Lord, Maryada Purushottam, I offer my obeisances to Lord Sri Ram. So there is a very small and insignificant pastime. Somehow call it coincidence. My Shiksha Guru used to say coincidence is Lord's way of being anonymous. So by coincidence I shared the same pastime when I spoke Bhagavatam sometime, and somehow there is a very nice connection between this pastime and today's verse. So there was a son of Indra, his name was Jayant, and he wanted to test Lord Ram. And so what he did was, he took a form, a very, very deceptive form. He took a form of a crow, a very insignificant one, right? If he comes as some formidable this thing, then there may be some, So he wanted to hide like a very regular, is just a crow. It may have flown from anywhere, sort of. And then it came, and the demigods at that time were enjoying the darshan of Lord Sri Ram and Mother Sita when they were having a pastime, just like the pastime when they have in Vrindavan. They were in the middle of the forest and they were treating each other with flowers, fruits from here and there. And just like the devotees find great joy in offering something to the Lord with love, right? It is said that Lord also enjoys and finds great pleasure in offering something back to the devotees of the Lord. So such intimate pastimes can be seen in Vrindavan, and similar pastime is happening in the Chitrakoot, where Lord Ram is there, Mother Sita is there, and they are exchanging fruits and flowers, and very nice. And Indra, it is said that even though he takes so much joy in looking at the Apsaras dancing and the Gandharvas singing, but then he loses all the taste, and he takes great taste in and great joy in looking at the pastimes of Lord Sri Ram. So when they were looking like this, all the demigods were taking darshan, and a very beautiful pastime was happening between Lord Sri Ram and Mother Sita. This Jayant, in the form of a crow, he came, and some versions they say that he attacked on the chest of Mother Sita, on her breasts, and in some places it is said that he attacked on the feet of Mother Sita, and he started pinching her with his very strong beak, and blood started to come out. So here we can actually see why this happens. He wanted to test the Lord. So this approaching the Lord, but if we don't have the right mood, is not good, right? So he had some pride in him. And Kunti Maharani, she says in her prayers that Janmeshwarya Shruta Shibhir Edhamana Madah Puman. Mad means intoxication, right? Navarti abhidhatum vai tvam akinchana gocharam. My Lord, your lordship can easily be approached, but only by those who are materially exhausted, whose mood is correct, right? One who is on the path of material progress, who is trying to improve himself with respectable parentage, janma, great opulence, aishwarya, shruta, high education, or Shribhir, which is bodily beauty or ability or strength. And proud of such things, they cannot approach you with sincere feeling. So this sincere feeling, if it is missing, even if we are very close to the Lord, we will not be able to get this. And so here 4 types of people who become proud are explained. And due to that pride, what happens? They become intoxicated. And when they become intoxicated because of the proud that I am great, they feel they are on top of the world. Now they can test and look down upon others. They can show how I am superior, I can test you, now you will be tested. So what are these 4 slipping points? When somebody is very proud of their Janma, high birth, that is the example here, Jayanta. He had that pride that I am the son of Indra. Then Aishwarya, the wealth, that can intoxicate someone. Here actually, I won't go into details today, but Indra's example itself comes where he was proud, he became in the Govardhan pastime, he became proud of his wealth and his position, right? Shruta, high learning. So the example that is given for this is Brahaspati, who is the guru of Indra, when he actually comes as Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. At that time, he spoke 8 days straight Krishna Katha to Lord himself, and giving all impersonal presentation, and then how his pride was shattered by the Lord, right? So that is Shruta. And Shri, so Shri is beauty or high talent or ability, right? Like Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Rasoham apsu kaunteya prabhasmi shashi suryo pranava sarva vedeshu shabda ke paurusham nrishu. Paurusham nrishu means I am the ability in man. The ability in man, the beauty in man, the strength in man, the wealth in man, who's the source of that? It is Krishna, who's full of all 6 opulences, right? But those, like here Prabhupada mentions, Asuras, they don't know that they are made up of 5 elements. They don't know that they are not this body, they are a spirit soul. And all the ability that is coming, be it strength or beauty, who is the source of that? It is Lord Krishna, Lord Ram himself. So the example that is given for this is that Arjuna actually had this tinge of, feeling that, okay, I have that ability, I am very this thing. And so in Bhagavad Gita, the beginning of the Kurukshetra war, it was revealed that no matter how powerful Gandiva Arjuna may have, he still needs the talent, the Gandiva of talent that Arjuna had. No matter how much it is, he needs Krishna on his side. Without Krishna on his side, there was no question of victory, So pride is like that poison. Even a drop of it falls in the sweet rice of our devotional service that we offer to Krishna. It will poison and spoil the whole offering. So where is the hope? So Prabhuji would explain that when somebody takes their offering to the Lord, and when we offer it through Mother Radharani, then she will take away all the impurities, right? And then she will put her love in that offering. When that happens, then the Lord sees, Arey, who has made this? then she will give the credit to the devotee. She will say, oh no, all this love is of that devotee, so you please accept him. So who can take away all this drops of poison and impurities from our service? Mother Radharani, Mother Sita. So we should take the shelter of lotus feet of Mother Sita. That is the solution. What was this crow giant doing? He was attacking that same place. He was attacking at that very same place. And here actually the crow's form, as we said, is also very significant in the terms of like, he took it because if you see the nature, again philosophically looking, what is the nature of the crow? It's not like a vulture or an eagle which is flying very high. There's nothing very significant. In fact, it is seen that crows, they would never go to a very beautiful garden, roses and all. They will go where there is garbage. Right? So, in fact, Bhagavatam calls in one of the verses garbage as Vayas Tirtham. It is the place of pilgrimage of crows. Right? So, a giant took form of crow to cheat the Lord. And this mentality to doubt the position of the Supreme Lord and the mentality to cause harm to Mother Sita, we can take lot of lessons from that also. So Mother Sita actually represents Mother Nature. Mother Nature, right? She is the energy of the Lord, and all the various energies of the Lord are represented by Mother Sita. So when we litter places, when we don't keep the places clean, when we pollute this Mother Nature, it is a Jayanta mentality of actually hurting Mother Sita's lotus feet. That is Jayant's mentality. Even for that matter, when Mother Sita, she is the representation of Bhumi Devi, Prakriti, various energies of the Lord. Even in a room, if the light is on, water is dripping, fan is running, electricity is getting wasted, somehow we are not respecting in those situations the energies of the Lord, right? And this is Jayanta mentality. So the environment around us actually is also something which is a resource which is like represented by Mother Sita in this example. And it is said that when we gossip or when we criticize others, that pollutes the environment also. So that is also Jayanta mentality. So what is the solution? What was the solution in the past time? What happened when Jayant started troubling Mother Sita and then went back and came back again? Then because he was hiding himself as a crow, Lord also did not take his weapons out from the quiver of Lord Ram. He showed that this crow does not even deserve the powerful weapons from the quiver of the Lord. No. He just took a blade of grass and he turned it into a Brahmastra and shot it over the crow. Now the crow turned into his original form and started running towards Indra. Indra said, "You make mess now, I can't save you." He went all over the place and then he finally came back and apologized. Right? So some very beautiful lessons come from this. First is that Ram took a blade of grass and turned it into an arrow. That completely shattered the pride of Jayanta. So like here, Varuna is saying that when you approach the Lord, somehow you will be put into a situation where your pride will be shattered. When you approach the Lord, who is the abode of all the bliss, condensed bliss and happiness, when we approach even with a wrong mood, right, the anarthas, they will be shattered when we go towards the Lord. Then, because he was hiding as a crow, the weapon was blade of grass. But there is a very important lesson here, that instruments of the Lord, who are the instruments of his Lord? That's what we aspire for. We just want to be the instruments of the Lord in his service, one way or the other. Pure devotees are the instruments of the Lord. Right? So, like when Lord Hanuman, he went searching for Mother Sita. He was a perfect arrow. He went like an arrow, right, towards Lanka. Determined, one target, right? And the qualification to be the arrow of the Lord is to be as humble as a blade of grass. So Mahaprabhu says, Trinadapi sunishchena, taroreva sahisuna, amanina manadena, kirtaniya sadahari. So if you want to become the instrument of the Lord in His service, then you have to become like that blade of grass. Humble. When there is humility, then there is no possibility of finding fault in others. There is no possibility of pride. And so I would like to end with quoting two instances. And first is that in Gaur Leela, Ramchandra Puri, this shook me actually, this really hit me very hard. Ramchandra Puri, who some of may or many of us may know that he became very blasphemous towards the Lord and the devotees, okay, and which resulted in his fall down, that he became very blasphemous towards the Lord. Ramchandra Puri used to find faults in Vaishnavas which were correct. This hit me very hard. Initially, when Ramchandra Puri used to criticize anybody, whatever he said was true also. When we criticize Vaishnavas, even for those qualities which are true, this gives room, it opens door to that illusion, to that mud, to that intoxication, because of which then we start criticizing Vaishnavas for those things that are not true. So, that's why an example of Vrindavan Vasis come. Vrindavan Vasis, what is their consciousness? What does it mean to be a Vrindavan Vasi? When Putana came, they were looking at Putana, and Putana was carrying a flower. So when all the Vrindavan Vasis were looking at Putana, they were talking to each other, and they were saying that this is Mother of the universe, Goddess Lakshmi. She's carrying a flower, this lotus. She is so beautiful. She has to be Mother Lakshmi only. So the qualification to enter Vrindavan, if we are interested to go back, enter Vrindavan, the level of consciousness that we should have is that even if Putana comes in front of us, we should only see her as Mother Lakshmi. That should be the consciousness. If that is the consciousness, that is the qualification to enter Vrindavan. So, with that, I would like to stop here and like to hear from all of you. If there are any comments or anything that I can learn from, please share.
Especially blade of grass.
Correct.
Now also about 105
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah, actually, what hit me the most was that I didn't have this understanding that if I am right, if my analysis is correct, but then there's false ego to tell us all my analysis are correct. And it's just that, even if it is factually correct, it's not going to help, because factually Putna was Putna. But if you want to enter Vrindavan, then there's a huge shift in consciousness that we need to do that, We are only looking at the good in others. That's it. And that comes from faith on the Lord also, right? Krishna says, Bhoktaram yagya tapasam sarva loka maheshwaram suhridam sarva bhutanam gyatvam mam shantim richati. So fearlessness comes when one has faith in the Lord. suhridam, that he is a well-wisher. Even if I want good for others, even if I care good for Putana, that oh, she should change and become a better person, I should have that faith that I can continue to look at their good qualities and inspire them and not point their negative qualities, and Lord is there. Why will he not? And if my words of persuasion, where I try to persuade someone to become a better person, more powerful than that is my prayer. My prayer for someone's benefit should be more powerful than my words of persuasion. Because my words of persuasion may not work, but prayers work. Right? Hare Krishna.
The story you mentioned, that insignificant story of Jayanta. So when he's in the form of crow and hurting Mother Sita, so obviously Mother Sita enjoying the company of Lord Rama and don't want to disturb him. But at the same time, we also know Mother Sita is none other than Supreme Consort Srimad Radharani, and she is the feminine form of Krishna. So, and then she being the instrument of the entire this Leela, actually she suffered a lot. So, and you just mentioned she has she's like a mother, she can tolerate it, and we can learn that from this pastime actually.
Yeah.
But again, a mundane person like me, can think if Mother Sita is the supreme consort and she suffered from an insignificant crow, how do we understand that thing? Not interpreting in some other mundane way.
Yeah, you're talking about suffering, like she was suffering, and this. So, two aspects. One is that that is the bhav of a mother, right? Mother may be what others may see as trouble given by others, but or trouble given by child, but mother does not see it like that. Mother sees it as my child, right? There's a allegorical example. I mean, just to say how mother's mood is. It is said that there's a very ungrateful child. What he has done is that when his mother died, from the skin of the mother, he made shoes out of that. And he's running. And when he was running, he fell down. When he fell down, then a voice came that, I hope you did not get hurt. It is said that voice came from those shoes because they were made by the mother's skin. So just an example to say that mother's outlook towards the child is never that oh, he's giving me so much pain. So that is her bhav. In fact, the detail of this pastime is that her body is transcendental, so where's the question of blood coming? But it is said that she thinks that he can get the if Mother Sita says, oh, I am not hurt at all, then Lord Ram would not even pay attention to this. So that Lord Ram can pay attention to this crow, she actually spills blood. The same example, the same Siddhanta applies in Gaur Leela when Mahaprabhu is, Nityananda is hit by Madhai, right? And it is said that to attract the attention of Mahaprabhu, Nityananda actually spills blood. And that's why Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur will say that we are actually so fallen. For them, little bit of blood they had to spill. For us to really attract the mercy and attention of the Lord, the spiritual master has to spill gallons and gallons of blood, so that we get the mercy, right? So that is our position. So that was one thing. And second is suffering. As far as suffering is concerned, right, it's good if sadhakas they learn and are ready to take that austerity of suffering. Suffering should be seen as something which is very, very purifying and very this thing, like you have to see suffering as something that will make me stronger on my path of devotion, right? So we should not despise from suffering, actually, in that sense. Nowhere, even in Lord, if you see any of the pastimes, Lord's life is full of like, the only places, like the best times that Lord had was with his devotees in Vrindavan, right? That time also the demons will keep coming actually. They could not give Lord suffering, but after that, I mean, it's like his entire life and Lord Ram's entire life is just sacrifices, and like, there's, in some sense you could see it as suffering actually. But if we take that in a positive spirit, right, then we can see that in every suffering there is the only way, the friction is the only way by which you can walk. If the snow is, or the ice is too slippery, there is no friction, there is no traction, you cannot even progress. So suffering is a very important part of progress actually, right? Yes.
It's so pleasing to listen. You mentioned a point that qualification of entering Vrindavan is to see footprints, Mother Saraswati or goddess of Lakshmi or whatever demigod. It's really very pleasing to see. But when you were speaking, my mind in the background was thinking how we can get this mood. I mean, so my mind was exploring me while you were speaking. So is it correct understanding that in order to get this mood, we should avoid unnecessary speaking, or we should remain quiet? Is it correct understanding, or how we can achieve that?
Yes, Prabhuji. Ideally, it should happen in steps, sort of, where I am and where I want to be. There's a huge difference between that, right? I'll give a very, very practical and real example from my own life. I used to feel that, very nice kirtan is going on and somebody is playing kartal out of this thing. So I'd be like, let's go and stop them. I'll say, Prabhu, please, it's not. Then I realized, okay, whatever I am doing, why do I think that I am doing so great? Why do I think Krishna is liking really what I am doing? Why am I thinking that my ability, or wow, very nice singing as per musical standards has more bhakti than somebody who's also playing in bhakti but is not actually in rhythm, right? So earlier I used to correct, but then I thought that actually in front of the deities there are so many aparadhas. One of them is you should not correct others, right? So I should not do that. So then hundreds of things can be done when it's done, right? Like if you want to correct, yes, you go, you really care for that person, you go after 3 days, you appreciate them for what they did, then you work with them, you spend time with them, you train them, you teach them if you really have the skill, right? But at that point of time, if a 3-year-old child is singing and he cannot even sing Hare Krishna properly, he is blabbering, how is my blabbering any different from his? I am also in front of the Lord, I am also a child who's blabbering, trying to blabber something with not proper consciousness. So yes, on the spot, don't correct them. If you really care for them, you will have that right attitude in which you will go and you will tell later, okay, what happened, or okay, let's find a way how you can improve on it. So approaching the same situation in a very different way, slowly we start getting into this thing where how much is my adhikar. One is that, right? Second, yes, not to speak out of turn. Third is you are put into a situation or a position in management where you have to do it. Then yes, those are the most difficult ones, and that's why I say that the attitude, we only have to develop it, right? So I cannot say, I just came 6 months or 3 months into Krishna consciousness, but now I'm the temple president, and now how can you expect me to progress? So I will make mistakes. No, it's not like that. You have to make sure that if you are taking a position of where there is adhikar, then it's like you are going to be under constant attack. The positions which are high up in this thing, they are always subject to lot of challenges and lot of things to be have those sensitivities, right? So to do the right thing and to do it in the right way. That's why the position of Parikshit Maharaj was so important, because he was one such person who knew what is the right thing to do and what is the right way of doing it. It is not easy to do both in a management position. So I cannot say, I just came 6 months or 3 months into Krishna consciousness, but now I'm the temple president, and now how can you expect me to progress? So I will make mistakes. No, it's not like that. You have to make sure that if you are taking a position of where there is adhikar, then it's like you are going to be under constant attack. The positions which are high up in this thing, they are always subject to lot of challenges and lot of things to be have those sensitivities, right? So when you are dealing with Vaishnavas, right? So, but hope is there. It's my 2 cents, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, any corrections online, please share.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Jai
Such
Shri
an amazing class, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. It was so beautiful.
Hare
I personally like this, giving up this Jayanta mentality not to exploit Mother Earth. That was really a striking point, I thought, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
And also about the, how the gopis perceived Putana. That was also very revealing, Prabhuji.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, actually, I really like that you said when you criticize people for something that they have done, then you kind of get into a tendency to criticize people for something they're not done. And I was also thinking about how Mother Earth and when I first came to Krishna consciousness, and I never used to wear dhoti properly. And then sometimes I used to tell people, how does it matter? It's devotion is important. I said, no, don't think this is material. This is all bhakti. Everything is bhakti. So actually, in this regard, for a very exalted devotee, he used to say, he is quoting Mahavishnu Maharaj actually. He is quoting that you people have given up meat eating, but you express that same violence on your clothes by throwing it here and there. So actually, this morning, what I was doing for chanting Gayatri, I took the charger and just threw it to the side. Then I was thinking that this is not good. This is all Krishna's property. So yeah, that was really touching. That ultimately, Mother Earth is yes, but ultimately Prabhupada said that every rupee in this movement, Prabhupada said is my blood.
Hare Krishna.
My blood. Every penny. So I was thinking that how Vaishnavas, they're so careful with anything. Like I see my Shiksha Guru exalted devotees, like if I'm cutting sabji and I spill one thing, they become really upset because every single thing is so valuable, like Krishna is giving, and so careless. I'm so careless. Thank you for
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय,
Great Ram Kumar Prabhuji ki Jai.
गौर भक्त वृंद की जय. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Ram Kumar.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.